In a divorce case, paternity case, domestic violence case, is the determination of custody and visitation. What are your feelings about that?
I think legal custody is more important than visitation. I think legal custody is more powerful. Is It's decision making, well-being of this child. Sometimes clients don't understand. They're very upset why the other parent should have any visitation. Again, after going through all the elements that this guy has done nothing wrong to the child, maybe bad husband to you, but good father. I ask a question. Do you trust every babysitter that comes to your life? No. Well, do you trust this parent to be a safe babysitter? Yeah. Use him as a babysitter and let it go.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
I mean, the safest babysitter is the other parent because you know for sure the other side is not going to hurt your child. Of course, if there is no abuse or anything shown.
Right.
You know, if that's just use the other parent as a babysitter. Just think of it so you can let go, because you cannot let go with your anger. You need to look at it differently. This child wants a relationship with the other parent. The problem is you not wanting this child to go. Otherwise, the child will say, I don't want to go. But if the child is saying, I want to go, then the problem is you. You need to change that mentality, that the way you think, that not looking at the other side as the father that you're angry with, look at him as a safe babysitter that would show your child a good time, and it's good for your child, and let it be.
What do you think about substance abuse and how it affects custody and visitation orders? Many years ago, I was doing a hearing. It was they used to call them order to show cause. They now call it RFO, request for order. I was doing an OSC hearing I was out of the county of Los Angeles, and I was appearing in front of this judge, and the father was alleging that my client, the mother, was using drugs and that he should have custody. And he appeared at this hearing, and all of the evidence he had was hearsay evidence. So I objected to everything. And the judge is kind of looking at me like, okay. So he sustains my objection and leaves out, all of this hearsay evidence. The problem was that the father had never seen my client use drugs, and I asked him on the stand, have you ever seen her under the influence? And he says, I don't know if she was or not. Okay, so you don't know. Good. So the judge is about to rule, and he says to me, well, Mr. Davis, I'm inclined to rule in favor of the father because I'm looking here on my computer. All right. And it shows that your client has been arrested for possession of cocaine and driving under the influence. And I was kind of shocked. I said, well, wait a minute, Your Honor. I said, you're going to consider evidence that neither of us brought into court? He goes, yeah, it's on my computer. He says, and I think that's why, they give us these computers so we can look up stuff. Now, I don't know if there's a statute that allows this now. It might be, might not be. But I said, with all due respect, I object. You can't go looking at evidence that nobody brought into court. What do you're on your own fact-finding mission? I don't think judges are supposed to do that. Anyway, it was kind of fun. And, he kind of looked at me like, oh, I never thought of that. you're right, but I never thought of that. And I think he said off the record, I do this all the time. I said, well, I can appreciate that, Judge, but I'm objecting to it. Maybe no one else here in your county objects, but I'm objecting to it. He decided to put the case over, to continue it, to allow the other guy, the other side, to get this evidence to
Ah,
use against my client. And that's a whole nother story. But what do you think about drugs and alcohol and substance abuse problems, in these family law cases?
I'm really concerned. I have a case that mom went to drop off the child to dad. Dad kind of bent over to pick up the child, and drugs fell off of his pocket, and syringe fell off of his pocket. So it is a scary thing, not just the use of it for the person. It's how this child is exposed to it. I have another case that father is growing marijuana, and his house is full of those cookies, and this minor child accidentally ate the cookie. So both of these cases are restraining order court waiting to be heard. I think it's extremely dangerous for the children because before marijuana became legalized, most courts said when there was an agreement for custody, or when the court was ordering custody, the court was saying you are not allowed to drink alcohol 24 hours before custody, gaining custody of your child. So 24 hours prior to you spending time with your child, you were ordered not to have any alcohol or any kind of medication to put you, to lose control. Again, it's not to the best interest of the children. Now they're saying no smoking and no drinking prior. I mean, no drinking prior, but no smoking and drinking while you have custody of the children. So it is important, and uh, the drug, depending on what kind of drugs and how they use it and how often they use it, places children in extreme danger no matter what. So how do I feel about it? I feel strongly that the parent who has addiction um, should not have custody of the children and should have visitation with children, and that is monitored. That's my feeling. And don't ever make me the judge for criminal court because it may be dangerous.
Okay. All right, so Celia, we've come to the end of the hour, and the next time we're going to talk about requests for orders, court hearings, and what to do to win and what not to do to make sure that you get the best probability of success in your case. I want to thank you, Sohelia, and we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
Monday
Thank
at
you.
7 p.m.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.